This video depicts topics of violence, murder, and death and is not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Saint Anthony of Padua, also known as Saint Anthony of Lisbon, was a Portuguese Catholic priest and friar of the Franciscan order. He is renowned for his powerful preaching, expert knowledge of scripture, and undying devotion to the poor and sick. Here is a brief but detailed biography of Saint Anthony of Padua. His birth name was originally Fernando Martin de Bourles, and he was born on August 15th, 1195 in Lisbon, Portugal. He was born to a wealthy and noble family. Fernando received a thorough education at a local cathedral school in Lisbon. At the age of 15, Fernando joined the Order of the Augustinian Canons at the Abbey of St. Vincent on the outskirts of St. Lisbon, where he spent the next 8 years. Seeking a more contemplative life, he transferred to the Augustinian Abbey of the Holy Cross in Coimbra, a renowned center of learning in Portugal. In 1220, the relics of the first Franciscan martyrs who had been killed in Morocco were brought to Coimbra. This event deeply moved Fernando, inspiring him to join the newly formed Franciscan order, where he took the name Anthony in honor of Saint Anthony the Great. Inspired by the desire to become a martyr himself, Anthony set sail for Morocco. However, he fell seriously ill and had to return to Portugal. On his return journey, Anthony's ship was blown off course and sailed into Sicily. From there, he made his way to Assisi, Italy. In 1221, Anthony attended a general chapter of the Franciscan order in Assisi, where he met Saint Francis of Assisi. Impressed by Anthony's humility and learning, Saint Francis entrusted him with teaching theology to the friars. Anthony became famous for compelling and eloquent preaching. He traveled extensively throughout Italy and France, drawing large crowds and converting many heretics. He was appointed as the first lecturer in theology for the Franciscans, teaching in Bologna, Montpellier, and Toulouse. Numerous miracles were attributed to Anthony both during his lifetime and after his passing. These included healing the sick, raising the dead, and other supernatural acts. He was known for his unwavering dedication to aiding the poor and oppressed, often speaking out against social injustices and helping those in need. Anthony's intense schedule of preaching and teaching took a toll on his health. He withdrew to hermitage in Campo San Prio to rest and recuperate. He passed away on June 13, 1231, at the age of 35 in Arsila, near Padua, Italy. Anthony was canonized by Pope Gregory IX on May 30, 1232, less than a year after his passing, due to the numerous miracles reported at his tomb. In 1946, Pope Pius XII proclaimed him a doctor of the Church with the title Doctor Evangelicus, an evangelical doctor. His feast day is celebrated every year on June 13th, the anniversary of his passing. Saint Anthony is the patron saint of lost items, the poor, travelers, and many places, including Padua, Lisbon, and Brazil. Saint Anthony's legacy endures through the many churches, shrines, and institutions named in his honor. His profound impact on Christian teachings, his dedication to social justice, and his reputation for miraculous intercession continue to inspire millions of faithful around the world. Saint Anthony of Padua is one of the most widely depicted saints in Christian art, and his iconography is rich with symbolism that reflects his life, teachings, and the miracles attributed to him. Here is a brief overview of his iconography, which includes examples of notable works that illustrate these elements. Many of his iconography include the child Jesus, which represents a vision where the Christ child appeared to him, indicating his deep love and understanding of Jesus. An example of this is the vision of Saint Anthony of Padua by Bartolome Esteban Murillo, where Saint Anthony is depicted holding the child Christ in his arms, symbolizing his profound spiritual connection. There's also depictions of the book or books in general, typically to represent the Bible, which reflects his reputation as a learned preacher and theologian, often shown holding or reading from a book. An example of this work is Saint Anthony of Padua with the Infant Christ by El Greco, where Saint Anthony is shown with a book emphasizing his scholarly and spiritual knowledge. The lily, which represents his purity and a chaste life. An example of this is Saint Anthony of Padua by Antonio de Pereda, where the saint is often shown with a lily, highlighting his virtuous life. Bread, which symbolizes his charity and care for the poor, as he is known for feeding the hungry. An example of this is in Saint Anthony distributing the bread by Antonio de Pereda, illustrating his acts of charity. Flame or heart with flames, which indicates his fervent devotion to God. Various statues and paintings where a flame or heart with flames is depicted near his or on his chest, which symbolizes, as mentioned, his burning love for God. Finally, fish, which refers to legend where he preached to fish when people refused to listen. This is exemplified in the work Saint Anthony Preaching to the Fish by Paolo Veronese, where the saint is depicted preaching to a group of attentive fish, emphasizing his miraculous influence. Other works that feature Saint Anthony of Padua: The Miracle of the Mule by Girolamo Muziano. This painting depicts a miracle where a mule knelt before the Eucharist, demonstrating the real presence of Christ in the sacrament, as preached by Saint Anthony. In this painting, Saint Anthony is shown in a Franciscan habit, gesturing towards the kneeling mule, surrounded by astonished onlookers. Saint Anthony of Padua by Tiepolo. This artwork captures the saint in a ecstatic vision with the Christ child. The luminous depiction of the Christ child in Saint Anthony's arms with angels surrounded them showcases the divine connection. Saint Anthony of Padua and the Miracle of the Lost Foot by Luca Giordano. This work illustrates a miracle where a Saint Anthony reattached a severed foot. The saint is depicted in this work with a healing gesture, highlighting his miraculous healing abilities. The Vision of Saint Anthony by Salvatore Rosa. This painting captures a mystical experience where Saint Anthony sees the Christ child. The ethereal light around the Christ child and the serene expression of St. Anthony reflects the divine vision. Finally, St. Anthony Preaching to the Fish by Francis Davis Millet. This work shows the saint addressing a congregation of fish. The saint is depicted here standing by a body of water, gesturing towards the fish, emphasizing the power over nature and his dedication to preaching. The main characteristics of most of the iconography, as described here, is Saint Anthony typically is shown wearing the brown habit of the Franciscan order, often with a quarter belt. His posture is frequently depicted in contemplative poses, either holding the Christ child or reading or performing a miracle. Finally, his expressions often reflect his piety, compassion, and scholarly wisdom. St. Anthony of Padua's iconography is a testament to his multifaceted role as a preacher, teacher, and miracle worker. The consistent elements of his depictions across various artworks reinforce his legacy and virtues he embodies, making him an enduring figure in Christian art and devotion. Saint Anthony of Padua, renowned for his powerful preaching and devotion, is also famous for the numerous miracles attributed to him both during his lifetime and posthumously. Here's a brief description of some of the most well known miracles. The miracle of the mule. In Rimini, an unbeliever challenged St. Anthony on the doctrine of the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. The man said that his mule, starved for 3 days, would choose food over the sacrament. When the mule was brought before the food and the Eucharist, it ignored the food and knelt before the sacrament, acknowledging its divine presence. This miracle is often depicted in art, such as Girolamo Mozani's painting showing St. Anthony with the Eucharist and the kneeling mule, surrounded by astonished onlookers. The Sermon to the Fish. When the people of Rimini refused to listen to his sermons, Saint Anthony went to the seashore and began preaching to the fish. The fish gathered and appeared to listen attentively, showing more reverence than the people. Paolo Veronese's painting Saint Anthony preaching to the fish captures this event, illustrating Saint Anthony standing by the water with multitude of fish attentively listening. The miracle of the lost manuscript. A novice once stole Anthony's valuable book of Psalms, which contained his notes and comments. St. Anthony prayed for its return, and the novice not only returned the book, but also rejoined the order, repentant for his actions. This event highlights Anthony's role as a scholar and his influence over those around him, demonstrating the power of his prayers. The miracle of the reattached foot. A young man, in a fit of anger, kicked his mother and cut his own foot in remorse. St. Anthony miraculously reattached the foot, healing the young man completely. Luca Giordano's painted St. Anthony of Padua and the miracle of the lost foot depicts the saint performing this miracle, showcasing his compassion and divine healing abilities. The miracle of infant Jesus. St. Anthony was staying with a friend in Campo San Piero, where he had vision of the infant Jesus. The child Christ appeared to him, embracing him. This vision signifies his deep spiritual connection and the divine favor he enjoyed. This miracle is famously depicted in Bartolome's Esteban Murillo's vision of the Saint Anthony's of Padua, where the saint is shown tenderly holding the Christ child. The miracle speaking infant in Padua, a baby remarkably spoke to defend his mother, who had been unjustly accused of infidelity. The infant declared that Saint Anthony was innocent of any wrongdoing and the accusations were false. This miracle is often illustrated to show Saint Anthony's role in protecting the innocent and upholding justice. The miracle of the broken glass. A glass jar fell and shattered, spilling all of its contents. Saint Anthony prayed over it, and the jar was miraculously restored, symbolizing the restoration of faith and hope. This event, though less commonly depicted in art, is an example of the many smaller miracles that demonstrated Saint Anthony's divine intercession in everyday life. The miracle of the fish's obedience. On another occasion, when St. Anthony was preaching in a town where the people were indifferent, the fish in nearby river reportedly lifted their heads out of the water to listen to his sermon, showing more respect than the townspeople. Similar to the earlier fish miracle, the event underscores St. Anthony's connection with nature and his divine authority. The miracle of the floating rock. During a dispute over the church's property in Padua, St. Anthony proved the rightful ownership by placing a piece of parchment on a rock in the river, which floated upstream. This miracle is often referenced in writings about St. Anthony's life, demonstrating his ability to perform miracles that defy natural laws. Finally, the miracle of the heart of a miser. St. Anthony was revealed that he had recently dis- changed the heart of a miser, which was not in his body but buried in his gold. When the body was examined, it was found that St. Anthony had said indicate the spiritual message of detachment from worldly possessions. This miracle serves as a moral lesson on the dangers of greed and the importance of spiritual wealth. Saint Anthony of Padua's miracle reflects the deeper faith, compassion, and divine connection, making him one of the most beloved saints in the Catholic Church. His miracles and celebrations are various and included in many forms of art and literature, which continue to inspire and strengthen the faith of believers around the world. Saint Anthony of Padua's canonization process was nobly rapid and reflects the profound impact he had in his lifetime and immediately after his passing. Here is a brief description of the process leading to his canonization. Saint Anthony of Padua passed away on June 13th, 1231, at the age of 35 in Arsela, a suburb of Padua, Italy. His reputation for holiness and miracles was so widespread that immediately after his passing, people began venerating him as a saint. The people of Padua, along with many others who had experienced his miracles and heard of his preachings, started to clamor for his canonization almost immediately after his passing. The Bishop of Padua, Giancito Conodi, supported the cause for canonization and forwarded the people's request to the Pope. The Franciscan friars and local authorities began compiling reports of the miracles attributed to St. Anthony, both during his lifetime and posthumously. These included healing the sick, raising the dead, and other miraculous interventions. Witnesses were called to testify about the miracles, and these accounts were meticulously documented and sent to the Vatican. Known for his support of the Franciscan orders and his personal admiration for Saint Francis of Assisi, Pope Gregory the Ninth was favorably disposed towards the cause. Recognizing the overwhelming evidence and the popular demand, Pope Gregory the Ninth decided to expedite the process. Typically, canonization took years or even decades of scrutiny, but in the case of St. Anthony, it was completed in less than a year. St. Anthony was formally canonized on May 30th, 1232, less than a year after his passing. The canonization ceremony was held at Spoleto, Italy. It was a grand event attended by numerous clergy, nobility, and laity. This rapid canonization highlighted the extraordinary nature of St. Anthony's life and the widespread belief in his sanctity. His feast day was set for June 13th, the anniversary of his passing. In 1946, Pope Pius XII declared St. Anthony a doctor of the Church with the title of Doctor Evangelicus, Evangelical Doctor, recognizing his significant contributions to theology and his effective preaching. St. Anthony's Shrine in Padua became a major pilgrimage site, and his influence spread worldwide. Churches, schools, and institutions were named in his honor, reflecting his widespread veneration. Countless reports of miracles and answered prayers continue to be attributed to St. Anthony, solidifying his reputation as a powerful intercessor. The canonization of St. Anthony of Padua stands as a testament to his profound impact on the Catholic faith and his enduring legacy as a beloved saint and miracle worker. His life and miracles continue to inspire devotion and admiration among millions of the faithful around the world.